Why 2024 was Prince William's Annus Horribilis and how he handled it. Now, welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is a new article released for the BBC In-Depth page by their royal correspondent Daniela Relf, and I thought it would be interesting to go through today with you for this video. Now, for those who are unaware, Annus Horribilis is a Latin phrase that means horrible year. This was first popularised and brought to prominence by Queen Elizabeth II with a speech in the Guildhall in November 1992, marking her Ruby Jubilee on the throne. Of course, it wasn't the greatest year, 1992, for the royal family, so she used this phrase Annus Horribilis in her speech, and it has become very popular to use for bad years for the royal family and more generally. So that's what it means, and let's get into this article. So Daniela Relf begins this article with a description of how she felt when she was attending the St Mary Magdalene Church at 5 AM as the BBC's royal correspondent, waiting to then go and watch King Charles and Queen Camilla lead the royal party to church on Christmas Day, followed by the Prince and Princess of Wales holding the hands of their children as they spoke to the crowds. And she goes on to say about the princess keeping a firm grip on playful Prince Louis, as always, while they were given Christmas cards and presents by members of the public who had turned up. It's actually quite a popular thing to do for many people on Christmas Day who live near to Sandringham. They go up to the gates, to the fence, and they try to get a view of the royal family as they're on their way to and from the church service on Christmas Day. Of course, they were also getting a lot of flowers, but Daniela Relf says that she could never have predicted that this was the last time that they would see Catherine the Princess of Wales in person for more than 6 months. She was expecting to head to Italy with the couple on the royal tour. This is Daniela. She was going to attend the Italy trip with the Prince and Princess of Wales, but Catherine, of course, didn't end up going on an official royal engagement until trooping the colour in June. On the 16th of January, of course, the Princess of Wales was admitted to hospital for major abdominal surgery, and I covered this way back at the beginning of the year. And then at the end of March, she came out publicly with her cancer diagnosis and announced that she would be going through preventative chemotherapy for that undisclosed type of cancer. For her husband, Prince William, she says it was the start of a year that he would go on to call the hardest of his life. It throws up memories of Queen Elizabeth's own sombre year of 1992, when there were multiple marriage breakdowns within the royal family and a major fire. At the time, she described it, as I mentioned earlier, with the now infamous phrase Annus Horribilis in that speech at the Guildhall. In 2024, Prince William faced not only his wife's ill health, but King Charles's cancer diagnosis too, and always in the background there was apparently unresolved conflict with his brother Prince Harry, and I do not blame Prince William for this at all, after everything that happened with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. But it was also a year in which certain aspects of Prince William's approach were cemented. Family came first, the school run was prioritised, she writes. For the Prince of Wales, this time of turbulence appears to have reinforced what matters to him most, and that is family. Of course, the Prince and Princess of Wales have come out many times saying that family will always come first, and I think this is a really nice open gesture of Prince William and a very clear kind of representation of this worldview happening this year. Prince William putting aside his royal duties to support Catherine the Princess of Wales and do the school run with the children, and we've seen more of his apprenticeship as a global statesman as well, especially during the 80th anniversary of D-Day, on a stage alongside world leaders when he was more able to come back and return to more royal duties, and it kind of became evident of what kind of senior royal William wanted to be. But it also left some questioning certain choices he has made, and she's going to go on and explain this shortly. Now, the second section of this article goes on to talk about the toll on William and Catherine themselves. Of course, it has been an incredibly difficult year for their mental health as well. I think sometimes it is not mentioned enough that the royal family members actually do have quite a tough time. Obviously, you're constantly in the public eye. I wouldn't want to be in their position at all. And constantly having conspiracy theories brought up about Catherine, loads of media attention, speculation, things like that. Can't have been very nice. And Daniela Ralph writes that on the 27th of February, the Prince of Wales was due to give a reading at the Thanksgiving service for the late King Constantine of Greece, who sadly passed away not too long beforehand, at St George's Chapel in Windsor, and the illustrious guest list included European royalty as well. But around an hour before the service was due to begin, Kensington Palace announced that the Prince of Wales would be unable to attend due to a personal matter. Now, this was, of course, the precursor to many bouts of speculation from the public. Of course, the Princess of Wales had already been for the operation in January, so that sparked some speculation, but it was not until March that she announced her cancer diagnosis. But this was around the time that he had to pull out, was around the time that the princess was given the news that cancerous cells had been discovered in post-operation tests after that abdominal surgery. She had some tests afterwards that they then discovered the cancer in. It wasn't a test for cancer specifically. Over the next 3 weeks, the couple told their children what was happening and had time to deal with their questions privately before going public. A friend of Prince William came out and said, "I think what was remarkable was just how hard it was for the Prince of Wales at the start of the year. His wife had gone in for major surgery and it became worse than expected. Then there was, how do I tell my 3 children that mummy is ill?" All of this was happening against the backdrop of the King's own cancer treatment, which he made public on the 5th of February, so the same month that this all went down. At a time when he was trying to protect his wife and children, he says he had that terrible thought that if his father dies, then everything changes, according to this friend. Several people who know the prince personally or have worked with him this year told Daniela Ralph, she says, that the spotlight on what was wrong with his wife took its toll on both William and Catherine. He was having to operate against the backdrop of the entire world questioning what was happening with his wife, one friend told the royal correspondent. And then, of course, the king was out of action for several weeks and the princess was away from public duty for months, and then the royal diary started looking really stretched. Prince William had to step away from many royal duties, and Prince William himself was adamant that public duty would have to wait until the situation at home was more settled. Family would always come first. And then we also saw, of course, Princess Anne and actually Queen Camilla as well, stepping up to fill many of those roles and royal duties and engagements that either had to be postponed or cancelled or pushed back to a later day or change the royal that was actually attending. Now, the support from the Middleton family also was crucial. There were 2 other important factors at home that helped the Prince of Wales himself support his wife and children: the Middletons and living in Windsor. Those are 2 factors that really helped him out. So when the princess made her public announcement about her diagnosis, the message was posted on the royal social media accounts, and one of the first people to publicly respond was the princess's brother, James Middleton. Now, alongside a picture of himself and his sister, he put up on social media, quote, "Over the years, we've climbed many mountains together. As a family, we will climb this one with you too." Together with his sister Pippa and the parents, Carol and Michael Middleton, the family became key to keeping life as normal as possible for the royal children. Absolutely amazing job rallying around William and Catherine. The Middletons had a crucial role here. People living locally reported seeing Carol Middleton, who lives actually about 30 miles away in Berkshire, regularly driving in and out of Windsor Castle, really making an effort to help the family. And when the princess's surgery prevented her from driving, it was her mother that often drove her daughter to school to collect the 3 children. So Carol would drive with Catherine to collect her children from school, obviously all very low key. There were a few leaked images that came out here and there. Windsor, said a friend, has been a sanctuary as well. The decision to move from Kensington Palace to Windsor Castle in 2022 also proving a good decision. Yes, so they said Windsor's been a sanctuary. It has provided the protection and privacy the family needed this year. They live in Adelaide Cottage, which is a house within the castle grounds, secluded enough to give the family freedom that Kensington Palace, which is in central London, could not. And this is also the location that we've seen some videos come out of Prince William using that electric scooter to get around the grounds. I will put that up in the background, it's quite funny. And of course, Prince William wasn't staying out of the public eye like Catherine was necessarily. So I'll put that up in the background because it's quite funny. But on Royal Duty, he'd also occasionally reveal some things about life at home, such as his continued devotion to Aston Villa Football Club as well, or a film or TV series he was enjoying, such as earlier in the year when he said he enjoyed The Fall Guy, and more recently he and the princess watched the thriller series Black Doves on Netflix, which is meant to be very good, on my watch list as well, but he said he enjoyed that, so that's a nice kind of little insight into Prince William's private life as well. And then he has also taken the children to football matches at local clubs, and both he and Princess Catherine have continued to be a part of school life at Lambrook, the private school in Berkshire that their children attend. During her treatment, Catherine was still able to be on the sidelines during sports days as well. So that was nice and really good that they got that privacy in Windsor Castle, the Windsor Castle grounds, that they wouldn't have got at Kensington Palace. Now, as well as the things we've already spoken about, this Annus Horribilis has also featured Prince Harry and Uncle Andrew also becoming more personal issues that have come to the agenda. So the rancor between William and Harry, Daniela Ralph writes, is said to remain. Harry has visited the UK over the past 12 months, but is not believed to have met his brother Prince William, and they are not thought to have spoken to one another personally in around 2 years. And again, I say I do not blame Prince William for this at all. There is naturally going to be some animosity there between them after everything that went down. And now, of course, there have been new controversies around Prince Andrew in recent months, including revelations that I talked about in previous videos about his links to the Chinese businessman and alleged Chinese spy Yang Tengbo, who has been barred from the UK after national security concerns. But the Prince Andrew also did not attend the royal family's traditional pre-Christmas lunch and is not expected to attend the royal family's main Christmas Day celebrations at Sandringham either. Such matters will have been dealt with by the King, of course, but as heir to the throne, William's voice in family matters is increasingly significant, Ralph writes. Robert Hardman, a journalist and author of Charles III, New King, New Court, The Inside Story, says that the relationship between Charles and his eldest son, William, has reached a new level of understanding. We still have a tendency to look at William as the kid, the apprentice, the understudy, he says, but he's now been a front-rank royal for 10 years. He's been around the block more than many current heads of state. And many of the things he talks about, Daniela Ralph says, come directly from him, which is somewhat unusual sometimes, rather than a formal statement or briefing. Now, to do with this, Prince William also has some patronages, but he actually has far fewer patronages than his father, and this is something that Daniela Ralph writes under the title The William Way. So the king currently has about 670 patronages, many maintained, of course, from his 70 years as the Prince of Wales, and loads inherited from the Queen as well, but Prince William's slimline, more focused approach to certain issues leaves him with only around 30, I say only, but 30 different issues that he is patron of still, and this is a deliberate strategy, she writes. Fewer projects, but higher impact in the hope of bringing about real social change. And this is something I've talked about in the past. Prince William is really passionate about the things he goes to, has a certain few focused approaches, such as the climate awards, the Earthshot Prize awards, his homelessness campaign and things like that. Catherine also has a similar approach with focuses on homelessness as well, but also the early childhood development program that she is very passionate about. Those who have worked closely with Prince William this year praise his approach, even though he's had so much of a private, tough time. Hannah Jones, for example, the CEO of the Earthshot Prize, said his contribution is unbelievable. He has set the vision. But Daniela Ralph writes that bold action also comes with more risk. Last month, she travelled to Newport in South Wales with the Prince to meet those working on his homelessness project in the city. It was 10 months since his wife's cancer diagnosis, her chemotherapy was complete, and Prince William seemed to be less burdened by life. He was in listening mode and spoke to dozens of people. In some of the conversations, it struck Daniela Ralph, she says, by how many ventured into the political. The prince told the project team to think differently, to be disruptors, and to challenge the way things had always been done. We drive in a very non-political lane, a royal source said. We use our platform to convene and shine the spotlight on societal issues, and that remains unchanged. We are feeling bullish about what we can achieve, even in really hard circumstances. So a different approach that Prince William is taking, but nonetheless a very impactful one. Daniela Rolfe wraps up this article, amazing article so far, I thought very, very in-depth, with saying about the statesman prince. Prince William being no doubt in the future will face further challenges around his role, but it is clear from his public work that he doesn't view his future as one filled with just plaque unveilings and handshaking, which is the kind of approach associated with I have to be seen to be believed, which is attributed to, of course, Queen Elizabeth II. But for Prince William, the approach, Daniela Rolfe writes, is more I have to be seen to be making a difference. Through 2024, he has ticked off meetings with many world leaders, as I said, from the Emperor of Japan to the President of South Africa, and rounded off, of course, most recently by the US presidential-elect Donald Trump, cementing his role on the world stage and promoting the UK with a touch of soft diplomacy, the monarchy being a very, very good way of doing that soft power that the UK has. Next November, the COP Climate Summit is being held in Brazil, and Prince William is looking forward to playing a role there, and the Earthshot Prize in Brazil may be a possibility too. Ultimately, Daniela Rolfe writes, the development of Prince William as a family man meets global statesman is ongoing, and he's looking increasingly comfortable juggling both roles. So that's the end of the article, an absolutely amazing overview of Prince William's year. She says Prince William's Annus Horribilis, indeed a very, very tough year, especially at the beginning with both Catherine being diagnosed with cancer and the king being diagnosed with cancer, but he seems to be really, really getting into his roles later on in the year and seems to be ready to go forward into the future with a bold approach, especially now that seems to be improving in private as well. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.